Hello, everybody. We experience a lot of changes when it comes to quite a lot of things in our life, from clothing to food. Quite a lot of things change with the seasons. And so today's topic is going to be about that. It's going to be what our skin goes through as the seasons change and what every skin type goes through, all of those things. Hello, viewers. I am Catherine, and today I would like to welcome you to episode 4 of Recall's virtual panel discussion. Today we have esteemed dermatologist Dr. Natasha and aesthetic physician Dr. Saru. Hello and welcome to this panel discussion. I'm super excited to be, exchanging and asking you guys questions about this topic that we have in today's session. Hi, Dr. Saru. Hi, Dr. Natasha.
Hi, Catherine. Good morning, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. I think it's going to be a fun one. And hello to Dr. Natasha. I am very, very excited, looking forward to sharing views, discussions, and everything that we can do. And I can speak for myself that I absolutely love what I do. Skincare is something that I do very, very passionately, and spreading information, education, and all of this is what I strive for. And I'm super excited to be here with Riquel and you.
Hi, Catherine. Thank you so much for having me over, and Requel as well. I think, today's topic, something so close to my heart, because in today's time, there's so much information out there on the internet, and everyone's just so overwhelmed by the 100 things that people are putting across online. And I think, this topic, we're going through a season change, and I think we're going to have lots to discuss today and also clear out a lot of doubts and just kind of like get everything concisely down and move ahead with our skincare regime. So yeah, let's get started.
Let's jump right into it then. So, today's topic is definitely seasonal changes, right? And our skin and how it adapts to that. So, while the seasons keep changing, does our skin type also change over time? And if yes, what would you suggest people do to keep up with their skin changes so that their skin health is always top notch?
That's actually quite a great question. It's quite confusing as well, because a lot of people think that, people are confused firstly about what is their skin type. And then, going around when there's a seasonal change, then everybody gets even more confused. Oh my God, am I using the right product, or am I doing the right thing with my skincare? So scientifically speaking, your skin type is genetically predetermined. So it's not going to change from the basis of it. However, a lot of things that our body goes through during our life, it could be internal, so it could be like a hormonal change, it could be a metabolism change, you could develop like a certain illness, or even just age, for that matter. And then again, like a lot of external things like, the weather, or, if you're traveling to a different city, even India, for sake, 4 parts of India, we have like different weather, north, different weather in the south, different weather in the west as well. So all these tiny aspects do end up temporarily affecting our skin and causing changes in the skin. And it's when these changes occur, that's when we need to also modify our skincare regime, a little, so that we're not harming ourselves, not harming our skin as well, doing too much for our skin as well, and trying to keep it minimum when, it's going through this change. So, a lot of people ask me, what is the change that your skin actually does go through? So, like if you look at just age, you see a lot of people who have really oily, acne-prone skin in their teenage years. And then suddenly, as soon as they enter their 20s, their skin changes, and they notice that it's not as oily as it was back when they were a teenager, and it's becoming more dry as it's going along. It could be the other way around as well, like someone like me, I had like extremely acne prone skin as I was growing up. And then suddenly I realized after the age of 25, my skin started getting dry as well. It started getting sensitive as well. So it's very, very personal to each one how your skin changes, with the season per se. But I would say listen to your skin, understand what your skin says. There's no, head fast rule that you have to do this, or you have to change your cleanser around, or you have to change your sunscreen around. Just listen to what your skin is saying. You feel drier on a certain day, use a more hydrating product that day. You feel that, you've been out a lot, you have a lot of oily skin, use a double cleanser that day, and use something that's going to deep cleanse your skin as well. So I think the basis of changing your skincare is just listening to your skin and not trying too many things at once. I think that pretty much sums it all for me.
I agree with you that when, like, with my own experience, my skin has undergone quite a lot of change in in terms of, like, I would say maybe it's age, or maybe it's just where I've changed my location. I've shifted from the city to back to my hometown where it's colder and the air is drier, so I definitely do see the difference in my skin. So now I'm going to ask Dr. Saru, is it essential to change your skincare seasonally?
Yes, Catherine, I really agree with what Dr. Natasha has said here. It is not, see, it's not about what is essential or what is needed. The transition between the seasons has to be according to your own skin needs. Just to give you some perspective, you need to understand, like, the issue here, maximum, in my working experience, what we see is with teenagers, people with say who fall in the bracket of less than 35 years of age. So this is the time when people are hitting their puberty, they're hitting adolescence, they're sort of transitioning between ages as well, and this is where maximum people can actually notice some skin changes, in terms of, say, which is also related to the weather. So in India, when we talk about changing seasons, changing weather, I feel you don't have to change a lot of things. I mean, you don't have to change your entire skincare, whether it's your cleansing, moisturizing, sunscreen routine. Some things are staples and you have to let them be. What can change according to needs is, say, for example, I'm just giving an example here, say somebody who's living in Mumbai versus somebody who's living in Delhi, say around the seasons of July and August. So there is a stark difference between the humidity levels in both the states. Now, what we need to understand here is what can change. Should your cleanser change? I don't see the need to change the cleanser. Should your serum change? Not necessarily, because if you're using antioxidants, you continue using your antioxidant serum. What can change is your moisturizer, right? So moisturizer, maybe when you're somewhere in Mumbai where it is really hot and humid, you go on to something lighter, more gel consistency, more watery consistency, compared to if you're in the northern parts of the country, you could either just use something. Of course, gel-based, water-based is always an option, but you can always go with a little bit more, ceramide rich, or maybe a little bit extra shea butter in there would not harm. So it is not essential, but yes, you have to really listen to the skin needs. You have to listen to where you are, what kind of water is there. Similarly, if you go to extreme weather conditions where it's completely dry, there's no humidity, your moisturizer is not going to work. And moisturization is key to any healthy skin. So when we really talk about changing seasons, we talk about the different moisturization levels that your skin really needs, So Catherine, according to me, yes, do it, but do it if your skin truly, really needs it. If you're okay with it, you're consistent with it, then there's absolutely no need. And of course, if you change your, say, for example, you use retinols, which are really drying during the winter season, then you have to go in with the more moisturizing, more heavy, more ceramide based product. In the summers, if you're not using retinols as much because of, say, you work outdoors, and we all understand, I think everybody nowadays understands that retinoids need a lot of sun protection. As for me, I always advocate limit the use of retinoids if possible during summer season, and specifically if you have like an outdoor nature of job or you're out vacationing a lot, then I always ask them to adjust their skincare. So I think that would answer your question in terms of what is really needed when the seasons change.
I think you really made an important point that I would like to emphasize again, because even Dr. Natasha that said the same thing, right? Is about listening to the skin. I think both of you touched on the most important thing that all of us, I feel, really need to remember, especially
True.
when Dr. Natasha said there's so much information on the internet. It's so tempting to try out new products all the time. So with that, I would like to ask Dr. Natasha, Dr. Saru mentioned about listening to your skin. So as we're listening to our skin, can you tell us why changing our skincare routine is good, and how often should we change our skincare routine with, while listening to it?
Great. So I think Dr. Saru summed it up so well. In fact, just listen to your skin. I don't think there's a head fast rule that you must change your skincare routine, as she said earlier. And I think a very easy way to put this is that, your skincare routine and your skin type must go hand in hand. I think all the girls out there who do, go to the kitchen, like there are different kind of knives that come. There are some knives that cut a tomato really easily, and there are some that don't cut a tomato. So you have those serrated edges, and then you have a straight edge knife. So it's kind of like using the right product for your skin type. So using the right knife to cut the right veggies, it's that kind of a logic as well. So I think whatever the season is, whether it's the summer, whether it's winter, whether it's monsoons where you're staying, just listening and using your products according to your skin type is very important. And I think the example that Dr. Saru gave was a very personal one for me as well, because I'm from Bombay, but I'm living in Delhi right now. So for me, every time I travel up and down, my skin goes crazy and it kind of like gets really confused. For 3 days, I'm in a humid environment and then I'm coming back to a dry environment. And trust me, with acne prone skin, it's a challenge. So I think, as she mentioned, just like sticking, what do I do different? I change my moisturizer around. So I'll use like a really thin hyaluronic acid gel based one when I'm in Bombay. And when I'm in Delhi, I use a thicker one, which would just hydrate myself a little more. So it's basically just, listening to your skin at that time. Now, I think, when we're looking at how to change your skincare, if you are changing the products in your skincare routine, I think one thing I would definitely tell all the viewers out here is don't try too many products at once. So if you're changing your cleanser, then only change your cleanser, wait for about 5 to 7 days, see how your skin is doing with it, and then go on to changing another product. So don't change too many things at one time, because then you won't understand which product did suit you, which product didn't suit you. And when it comes to, is it necessary to change? I think, the tricky skin types like a sensitive skin or an acne prone skin or even aging skin for that matter, they need to change their skin types around, like, their products around with the place that they're going to and with their age. But there's no head fast rule. So just take it easy, change one product at a time, and only change it when your skin feels like changing it, not because the weather's changing or because you've seen it online that you need to change your skin products in this season. There's no head fast rule like that.
I will ask Dr. Saru the next question, which is, what does a good skincare routine look like to you? Not just in the morning, but also at night. And if you can tell us, what are some of the non-negotiable ingredients, especially since summer is coming for summer, right? And how would I switch to a new skincare routine?
Okay, so I would like to first target the first question, Catherine, that you asked me. In terms of as to what is a good skincare, so I am one of those doctors who firmly believe that skincare has to be very simple. It doesn't has to be something which gives you constant stress. I have a lot of patients. They say, Dr. Saru, like, I'm ready to do the morning routine, but night routine is something that I feel stressed about. So I just ask them one simple question: what is the stress about? You just have to take out 5 minutes of your time to do that night routine. And for me, I believe in simplicity. Less is more when it comes to skincare. And, it has to also come very naturally to you. It doesn't have to be like an extra added work. So a good routine for me is cleansing, because that is the most important thing that you can do to your skin. You have to sort of clean it nicely. Second is moisturizing and an SPF protection during daytime, and maybe an anti-aging routine if you're in that age bracket for nighttime. Simple 4 basic rules that I tell my patients to follow. I don't advertise use of those 10-step, 11-step Korean routines for glass skin and all of this. I believe good skin equals good gut. I firmly believe that you cannot have that glowing skin just by throwing money at products, because if that was the case, Catherine, everybody would have good skin, right? Your skin is truly what you put inside. So I also quickly just want to mention that when seasons change, adapt to your food habits also accordingly, right? So when you need to drink lots of water, hydration is important. Take a lot of antioxidant-rich fruits. Summer fruits are so rich in antioxidants. Fine, some things I do understand don't really agree with your stomach. For me, I firmly believe mangoes do not suit me for whatever XYZ reason. They're full of antioxidants. Do I ask people not to eat it? Absolutely not. If it's working for you, please go ahead and eat it. If you do not have a very sensitive acne prone skin, for me, it has never worked. I avoid mangoes throughout the season. I love them, but I avoid them, you know. So season changing also means adapt to your food habits. That is very, very crucial. You know, look for what supplements you need. So basically, like I've told you, skin routine has to be just very simple. Now, non-negotiables for me in my routine is absolutely, if we are talking about the coming summer season, antioxidant serum has to be my priority because I have to protect myself from the UV damage. Why is it necessary now? Because of all the pollution, you know, we're losing the good ozone layer, which is protecting us against the UV damage. And I just need that sun protection. I cannot be caved in all day. So I need that good antioxidants to fight the external damage, which is being brought out on my skin. Second is, if you're in that anti-aging category, now I divide generally into two. You have anti-aging and you have some sort of issues. So maybe you have to look for treatment basis on terms of pigmentation, or you have acne, or you have, say, any sort of acne scarring. So that is what you have to, really pick and choose. And I'm sure Dr. Natasha will agree with me here when I say that, it's not important. Anti-aging is not as important as really targeting the basic issues that you feel. When you look yourself in the mirror and you feel you can point out that one thing that is really bothering you, that should be the non-negotiable in your skincare routine, right? So it's not what I tell you or what Catherine tells you or Dr. XYZ tells you. It's what you really, when you look yourself in the mirror and you point out, yes, this is what, sort of troubles me, that should be the non-negotiable for you. Having said that, of course, sun protection, again, absolutely important. Look for the highest SPF, maybe 30, 40. Reapplication of sunscreen is non-negotiable for me because ultimately whatever you're doing, whatever money you're investing has to give you results, and nothing will give you results if you're not sun protecting, right? And I think I've lost the third question, Catherine. What is the third question that you asked me? Because the train of thought.
I understand. There were quite a lot of questions in that one question. The last one is, how do we effectively switch to a new skincare routine?
Right. So like I told you, effectiveness, of course, has to be in terms of what are your goals to be achieved in that time. For example, for me, as right now is the summers are coming, I have a more or less of a combination skin type, but I know that, the night I'll put a retinol on because of my anti-aging skincare, where I'm using a retinol, the next day I will feel itchy, I will feel dry. If I expose myself to the sun, I'll feel, slight tingling sensations. So that switch has to be according to what so your diurnal needs, you remember me, Catherine, telling you, in the morning, you might feel absolutely fresh, you washed your face, you've done your skincare, but during the day, you start feeling that dullness setting in, or maybe, just tiredness setting in. So what I want here for everybody to realize is that if, for example, if you're using a retinol, use a heavier moisturizer, not heavy in terms of, say, change your product, maybe just layer on additional layer of your moisturizer, or maybe use a sunscreen which has additional moisturizing properties in it. So this is how very conveniently, very effectively, without having to change a million things, you can just very swiftly transition into what is required for your skin. And
right.
I think that will sum up everything that I've been trying to say, and Dr. Natasha has been pointing out. Personal needs over whatever extra information you're getting out there. Less is more when it comes to skincare. Don't just look for what skincare ingredients you can do. Also see how you can manage your lifestyle and food habits to also adapt to that changing season.
So you spoke about antioxidants, and I just want to extend the question a little bit more because I feel like there's still something I would like to know from you. So what are your favorite ingredients for the summer and winter, especially? Mostly because right now the skincare industry as well as the consumers are so focused on ingredients, right? Like we have a lot of brands coming up with even the packaging itself. Yeah, everything it's
so
not like how it used to be before.
They just highlight one ingredient, the hero ingredient, as they would say.
Yes.
And it's all about that. For me, it's very plain and simple, Catherine. I don't go into the nitty-gritties of it. Vitamin C, a good form of vitamin C. I'm not just saying L-ascorbic acid, but there are tons of different vitamin C formulations in the market. So you have tetraascorbyl phosphate and this and that. So just look for a good antioxidant. I like the combination of CE and ferulic acid. So vitamin C, vitamin E, and ferulic acid. Hyaluronic acid is another favorite for bedtime if you're using retinoids. So for the daytime, I would say if you have a generally non-problematic skin, look for vitamin C, E, ferulic acid as just one concoction, one serum in itself. And at bedtime, you can just look for retinoids. Simple, done. If you have acne in the morning, again, vitamin C is going to help you. At bedtime, some form of retinoid, say adapalene if you're using, or maybe using so over-the-counter treatments, say clindamycin, for example. And of course, there are tons of other things, but just to give you some sort of just a thought here. And finally, say if you're looking for melasma, then in the morning you need your antioxidants for sure, but at nighttime you need some depigmenting agents. So, whatever your doctor prescribes you, maybe it's an arbutin, maybe it's kojic acid, there are tons of others. So if you have really bad, under your doctor's guidance, you can always use hydrogen. So all of these things are what I feel ingredient list is very, again, specifically targeted to what are your individual needs. And only then you pick up and choose what you really want. Of course, all with the guidance of a dermatologist, no matter how this industry is blooming, and they pick up one doctor, don't do doctor hopping and don't go doctor shopping also, because that is also going to create issues. So stick to one person you trust and just do what you know, and trust me, you will never have any issues.
I think that's really, really important, whatever you just said, because, right, with everybody, even Dr. Natasha mentioned, we have so much information right now. We're living in the age of excess, right? Like when it comes to everything, there's so much out there on the internet. So it's really great that you mentioned that. I think it's important for all of us to remember here who, we're not experts, right? So we are, it's important that we actually seek the counsel of someone who has studied and has done, knows what they're saying, right? So I wanted to ask Dr. Natasha, because we are talking about skincare. So now that like Dr. Saru has given us like the basics that we need to have when it comes to skincare, the ingredients, and also some tips that all of us need to know, I wanted to ask Dr. Natasha, what is the best time to experiment with our skin?
I think there are 3 head-fast rules. One is don't experiment with your skin if you feel that your skin is a little confused. So when I'm talking about confused is that if you feel dry, if you feel itchy, if you feel you're breaking out, or if you feel like a new concern is coming in, like, suddenly you're developing like brown patches on your cheeks. It could be melasma, it could be pigmentation, it could be one of so many different things. So I think going and visiting your dermatologist or your physician once before trying and experimenting with all the skincare products that are available out there is of utmost importance, I think, here. Another time when I would say not to experiment would be, during the festive season or when you have an event coming up, because you don't want to take a chance. The product might not suit you. So definitely stay away from, experimenting with your skincare around your festive. So around Diwali, New Year, Holi again. Holi is a time when your skin can get really sensitive with all the colors that you use. So definitely don't experiment at that time. And the third would be if you're traveling or if you're in a place with really dry and harsh weather change, then I would suggest not experimenting with your skincare at that time. But other than that, I think if you just follow the headfast rules of listening to your skin and, giving a gap between changing your products, you should be pretty much sorted. And of course, with the guidance of your dermatologist or aesthetic physician. It's a big boon. I mean, be in touch with one and stick to one, as Dr. Saru said. It really, really helps with your skincare journey.
I think that's very important. I think it's great how you mention what not to do instead of what to do, really, because I think knowing what we shouldn't be doing really sets the tone for what we should be doing, more than what we should be doing. There's just too much to what we should be doing, but there's quite less of what we should not be doing. Okay, so from Dr. Saru mentioned that during summers she likes to have antioxidants, especially it's a non-negotiable in her skincare routine. So for the viewers, Dr. Saru, what are the active ingredients that they must have in their summer routine?
Right. So like I've mentioned this before also, Catherine, for summers, look for very basic ingredients. Summertime is where you have to consider a lot of factors. What is your lifestyle like? Are you somebody who's exposed to sun a lot? Do you have an outdoor nature of job? Do you are always sitting in front of a blue screen? Or you are constantly somebody who has a very, very, sedentary sort of lifestyle of, say, you are, or you have something, say you're an outdoor sports person. So consider using ingredients and actives which will really benefit you. So use ingredients which will protect you. And in the modern day, understand your environment, understand what you do for a living, understand what are your specific skin needs. So copy pasting somebody's skincare routine is not what your goal should be. In summers, specifically, use ingredients depending upon, say, if you have a combination skin type and your T-zone is oily, your cheeks are dry, then maybe, why not invest in two sort of moisturizers, one for your T-zone, just dab it in, and then one for your face. Why let yourself be always under this constant pressure? If I use this sunscreen, this gets super greasy and this gets super dry. Just go ahead and talk to your dermatologist, talk to your aesthetic physician, and just get two products and just, mix and match and use things. So antioxidants is important for me. Retinoids are important for me. Targeted treatments are very important for me. So if you have an acne prone skin, I think for acne these days, I love the acne patches which are available in the market. It's a great time to be investing in acne patches. Use that. So targeted treatments is what I would say. Don't just fancy, okay, now tomorrow I'm going to try Arbutin, tomorrow I'm going to try lactic acid. Use things which your skin really needs. Don't fall for advertisements. And this is my first mantra that I've been giving out to everybody. Stick to 4 good products and you'll be sorted. So Catherine, just to again come back to your point, I wouldn't like to name any specific ingredients because there's nothing like what I need or what you need. It's what that particular individual, particular patient really needs, and then we pick and choose for them. I was saying, Catherine, so a lot of times people are using AHA, BHA products in their cleansers. Then they go ahead and use it in the form of a toner, and then they don't read the ingredient list, and there's some sort of AHA, BHA, some acid in their moisturizers as well. So this is how people are literally damaging their skin by overuse of exfoliants, which should really not happen. And so this is the reason why they land themselves up to a doctor's place, because they don't understand what they're doing wrong, because their so-called influencers have been telling them of using this, and they're just copy pasting a sort of ingredient list which their favorite actress is advertising or their favorite influencer is advertising, and it's all about over exfoliation. So you need to understand during summers, exfoliation has to be at a very, very minimal, and you don't have to over exfoliate your skin. Similarly, don't overdoing of anything is wrong during summers. You just maintain a list, go to your dermatologist, go to your aesthetic physician, you talk about your main issues and concerns and stick to what they're giving you. Similarly, don't talk to a lot of doctors, because every doctor has their own sort of protocol that they follow, or some old school dermatologists have a very different thought process. The newer generation really works on the barrier. Like for me, your skin barrier is of utmost importance rather than the ingredients. So I believe in using ingredients in every skincare, in every season. Use ingredients which will help boost your immunity, your skin immunity, and your barrier. Simple as that. There's no hard and fast rule here. Just follow the basics.
I think that you touched up on quite a lot of really, really important things, like really, really important things to note, especially when it comes to skincare, especially when it comes to trying out new skincare. And I think this session was so insightful. I even wrote down on my at one point I was like, okay, I need to write this down before I forget. So before we all end this session, before we wrap it up, I just wanted to say now, is there something that you would like to remind the people who are watching this, that you feel like it is a must, it's a non-negotiable that we must end, to conclude this whole topic today?
Keep it simple, have fun with your skincare, don't overdo it, and don't overwhelm yourself as well. And as Dr. Saru said, I'm so happy that we both had the same thought process. Keep it simple, don't overcomplicate your skincare regime, and just listen to your skin. And I think for me, it's also very important to mention that keeping a check on your diet and lifestyle is very, very important. So eat the rainbow, work out every day, get your 8 hours of sleep, and you will see a difference in your skin. Just be consistent and keep it simple. I think that's for me.
Yeah, I think it's the same for me. From starting to the end, it's all about simplicity. Nothing has to be overly complicated. Nothing has to be stressful in your life. It's all about what you like, and then stick to one doctor, trust in them. Unless until everything is going really badly down south, then you need to stop. Don't just blindly trust also. But if you'd relate with somebody, if you know that, okay, yeah, this is the kind of doctor I can have a connection with, fine, just stick with it. Just keep the noise out.
Thank you, doctors. That was a really, really insightful session.